Hello, you're watching Ellie from Ellymentry Papercrafting. I'm an independent Stampin' Up demonstrator here in the UK. I'm off to visit a friend of mine. I'm going to stay with Chris in Northampton for the weekend, and due to the problem with the postage, I've decided to take her Christmas card with me. Now, I had a rush job on to get all the ones I wanted to post finished and posted yesterday. Fingers crossed they will get there. So I left this one till now because, as I say, I can take it with me. Now, Chris absolutely adores green, and she used to work in a garden centre, so she's very interested in plants and things. So the obvious choice for Chris is Eden's Garden. Now, it's not particularly the stamp set that I'm thinking of, but the papers. They are beautiful shades of green. We've got the evening evergreen and the soft succulent particularly, and then paired with the gold as well. It's just an absolutely perfect choice for her. The colours here are beautiful, as you can see. The designs are just fabulous, and they're all double-sided as well. Beautiful. Now, the stamp set is still available in our annual catalogue, but sadly the designer series paper was only available for one annual catalogue. It wasn't brought back into the last one. But if you've still got that one in your stash, it's a lovely one to use for Christmas. So let's start showing you the card that I've designed and got ready to do. I'm going to use this piece of designer series paper, which I really like. It's like an ombre effect, but just with that little faint sort of broken stripe in it too. So the flip side of that is this gorgeous greenery with that tiny little fleck of gold in. That's really nice, but I'm going to use that flecked pattern in a very small place on the card. So my card base is a piece of A4 folded in half. So if I just hold that up to show you, it's a whole sheet of A4. Okay, now most people in the USA would cut it down there and fold this piece in half, and it would be a small card. So my card is twice the size of yours. Okay, now when I'm gonna pop my designer series paper onto it, I find it's much easier if you have your card flat, then nothing's popping up, and you'll be able to get this on straighter, much easier. So I'm going to use my Tombow multi-purpose glue, which, as I've mentioned before, I keep in this dispenser because I can control the flow of it, because this particular top, when you buy it, it's completely closed, and you just cut it off with a craft knife until it flows at the speed you want, and I like that. So I'm just moving this a little bit while the glue is still wet to get that 1/4 inch border, sorry, 1/8 of an inch border all the way round. So I cut the paper 1/4 of an inch smaller than this all the way around, and that gives me an 1/8 of an inch. So don't get hung up about the size you have to cut everything. All right, cut the card to the size you want. Cut your first mat an 1/8 of an inch smaller than that, and that will give you the border. Okay, now I want to jazz this up with not just the designer series paper, but also some gold, because there's gold in the paper. So as always, I don't waste my gold foil card. I cut the middle out because you're not going to see it. Okay, so the 3 pieces of designer series paper I chose are these. So that's going to go there. So as you see, you won't see the middle of that, so there's absolutely no need to have the middle there. this one, I cut some of my decoration out of it, and I'm going to cover the middle with that. So again, we've saved that piece of cardstock. And then this piece is going to sit here like so. So all you can see is your paper and your gold. So those pieces that I've cut out, I've put away in my scrap drawer. So when I want a piece of gold to back a sentiment or something, it's there. Okay. So when I attach anything to mirror card or gold foil card, I find it easier to use a dry glue. So double-sided tape is my preference. This is a really narrow one because, being extra mean, I cut just a 1/4 of an inch border around here so that I cut more of this away. So when I stick this down, is only going to be about 1/8 of an inch here. So that's why I'm using this very narrow tape. Now, if I thought about it, I would have done this ahead of time. So I do apologise for this. I might speed this bit up for you, actually. As you've seen me do this before. I just talk you through the first bit in case you've not seen me do this. I put my tape on, use this card to press it down to the end, and I hold that really firmly and then just rip the tape up, and that way you get a nice straight edge here. You can cut it with your scissors if you like. If you do that, you'll probably end up with glue on your scissors, and that is a nightmare. So I just use an old gift card, something that's, you know, gone out of date. And I find this is perfect. So once I've got all the tape around the edge, and I like it to be right on the edge because I don't want any paper lifting up, I go over it with my finger to make sure it's really pressed down. You can use your bone folder if you prefer. Then I take just the top left hand corner away, just enough to catch hold of. So a couple of centimetres, 1/2 inch, you know, just a bit that you can pull away in a minute. So just turn it round and keep taking the top left hand corner away. If you're left-handed, you'll probably take the top right hand corner away or something, but whichever's easiest for you. And then I'm going to attach that to this piece, making sure that those little bits of tape stick out at the sides here, the corners. So I can place this down like so. Once I know it's in the right place, I press down on the corners where the backing of the tape is taken off, and then I peel it away. And that way you'll be able to get it stuck down where you want it without anything serious happening. If a tiny bit catches there, you can always pull it off. So that's what I like to do. It's a little tiny bit of the backing of the tape there, so I just push that in with my tweezers. So that's one done, and I'm going to do the others in the same way. Okay, so I'm going to place these now, and I'm just going to play around until I'm kind of happy with where I think I want to put them. So thinking something like that. And then to decorate it, I wanted some poinsettias. Now, traditionally, poinsettias are red. You can, I think, get white ones as well. But I really wanted to bring more gold into this. So I thought it would be fun to actually cut them from some more gold foil. So the good thing about these dies is that when you cut, you also get the lovely embossed veining in the leaves of this. I hope you can see that there. Not sure how it's focusing, but hopefully you can see that. So I thought they would come sort of just cascading down the middle, sort of something like that. But then I realised that that was too much gold and I needed something to lift it. So I then cut out 3 white ones as well and sort of messed about with that a bit. And I kind of like did this to see if I liked that effect. And didn't really like that. That's too much white. So then I decided I'd probably do a little trick lots of people do for various things, and it's kind of like shadowing. I've got to find the right bit now to stick. Where's that one go? That's it. So when you do shadowing, you kind of line it up and then just bring it away slightly in the same direction, so you get the white shadow just forming on one side. So if I kind of like put that one there, now you get the white against the designer series paper, and that sort of breaks it up. And I think that's what I'm going to go with. So that's the idea I'm going for. So I'm going to place my pieces of designer series paper now and decide exactly where they're going. But I want a greeting, a sentiment at the top there. And I've chosen the Merry Christmas, and that comes from the poinsettia petals, and that's where I've taken the dies. Sadly, this has now been retired, but any large flower die that you've got that's got some embossed lines in it would be nice. So I'm just going to stamp this first so that my greeting is there, so that I don't accidentally cover it up with designer series paper. That's quite good. Now I've just got a tiny little bit there where the S is. I can't do anything about that because I don't have a Stampin' Write marker for that one, but I'm not going to worry about it. I think by the time I've put everything else on, I don't think anybody's really going to notice that. If I had a Stampin' Write marker, that's like a felt tip pen with the colour of the ink pad, and it's got a fine line here. You can just go over that. Okay, if you're not using, if you've got the one that matches your ink. So let's pop my paper on now. So I think we're going to go kind of like that. So nothing's too lined up. I like it all to be quite abstract. So let's pop this piece down first because it's the biggest one. So I'm going to use the Tombow on the back of this. Now I have made the mistake of putting down blocks like this on a card before I stamped it, and then I haven't got room for it, so that's why I put that there first. So I'm just going to attach the gold to the white, just with a little bit of my glue. Now I'm going to move my work away because I don't want to get glue on it. There. So then I really like how the white is just separating the gold and green, and I think that just looks much nicer. So I don't mind if it's overlapping a little bit. I think it's quite nice for them to overlap. So I think we'll go with that. Now, because there's a bit of gold in here, I want to make sure this sticks. So if I put the wet glue on the back of it might not stick well to this. So I'm going to take my glue dots and put those on the back. There we are. And just to lift it again, I've taken these tiny little poinsettias, which come from, well, the stamp set I've been using so much over the last few months. I absolutely adore this set. It's Merriest Moments. Absolutely love this one. And in amongst that, in the dies, is this tiny little die here, and that one, that's what I used, and that just lifts this. When you pop this in the center, I think it just really sets the whole thing off. I think it's smashing. So pop that in. Now I suppose I could have gone down and used a smaller one as I went down, but I didn't actually think of it. Now, because they are bigger than the area in the middle there, like I say, the sticky comes through. So the way to get rid of that is to get your embossing buddy. So this is a little piece of like muslin cloth, and it's got some powder in the middle. And if you just pop that on there, it will take all the stickiness away. And then all you need to do is just blow it a little bit. You can get a little brush to brush it off, just a paintbrush, any kind of clean brush you've got. Just wipe that dust off. And then you have a lovely Christmas card. And I'm just going to put a couple of these Pearlized Enamel Effects Basics dots on. All right. Now this is a pearly liquid, and I quite like to use this just as it's very green, so I wanted a couple of dots on here. Now don't shake this, you don't want bubbles in this, so just turn it upside down and tap a couple of times, right, just to bring the liquid to the top. Then take your lid off, and I'm going to put one here. Squeeze gently, stop squeezing and pull it up. And at the moment it's got a little point, but it will dry in the dome. If you're a bit worried, it might not. Just flick it like this underneath, and it very quickly dries into a nice domed pearl. So I'm going to put, you should always have an odd number. I'm very tempted to put one in the centre of here, which I'm going to do. I would really like to do this in gold, but these come in white, red, and what it's called black on the pack, but it's actually a really beautiful dark silver. So that's 4. Let's put one here to make 5. You should have an odd number, so I'm going to leave it at that. I don't want to do any more. If you put too many things like dots and embellishments on, it starts to look a bit untidy. I think that's enough. So that's today's Christmas card. I really hope you've enjoyed that one, and you will find links to the digital downloadable catalogues and also my online store in the description box below. You can always give me a thumbs up, that helps with the YouTube analytics, and also if you subscribe to my channel, that will also help. I do really appreciate my followers, and I hope to see you all again on my next adventure. Bye bye for now.